Hello people of the internet, I'm Jam Games, this is Random Tuesday, and today we are doing a kinda review for Galagan's Island Reprymian Rising. So a developer has been kind enough to give me a key to their game on Steam, and I have decided to review it slash just talk about it while it plays in the background for you guys. The developer contacted me on Twitter, and it's from Skinny Jean Death Studios, published by Forever Humble Productions, and it's currently in early access right now on Steam. And the amazing thing is that this game was made by a 13-year-old. Like, I could barely use Internet Explorer when I was 13. Holy crap. So he was kind enough to give me a Steam key and ask me to review it. And of course, for any developer, anyone out there, I will always look at games, no matter how good or bad, it doesn't matter. So it's kind of a really informal review, but I'm just going to talk about the game, what I liked, what I thought about it. So let's get into it. So it has a really retro feel, as you can probably tell from the screen. I like the art style, and if you look at the enemies, like, they all have a ton of detail in them. It's kind of quirky and unique. Every enemy has like a facial animation. Something I want to say about your lives or ships: if you look on the left and the right, there's a bunch of ships on the screen, and it kind of seems like a lot. Like, normally you'd have, I don't know, 5 lives or something. So it's kind of odd that there's that many lives. But after I played it a few times, I kind of got used to it, and it kind of worked for the game. So that was good. One thing is, if you see my ship flying around, as soon as you stop flying, your ship automatically gets dragged to the bottom of the screen, and I didn't really like that mechanic. It was kind of annoying. I wish your ship would just stay where you leave it and you could move it around freely. It made you feel like a lot of tug and pull with the game, and it made the controls feel a little bit less accurate than maybe they could have been. Another thing is, when you destroy enemies, you'll see the screen shaking. Maybe for watching a video it's not that bad, or maybe for most of you it wouldn't be a problem, but for me it kind of took me out of the game experience every time the screen shook, and kind of ruined my gameplay a little bit. This game has a great musical soundtrack. There's a bunch of different tracks. I really like Level 3's music. It's basically up to your preference. Who am I to say what music is good? But I really like the soundtrack with this game, and it made the game feel a lot more polished. And considering the size of the development team, one person basically, as far as I understand, the game actually seems pretty polished. There's no options menu, which would have been nice to maybe mute the in-game sound or something like that. And there's also no instructions, which I'll talk about in a second. But other than that, the game feels pretty polished, which is really cool. So when you start playing the game, your ship will automatically be shooting the lasers or bullets or whatever they are that come out of the ship. So you think it would just keep going automatically, right? But actually, the first time I played through, if you look in the bottom right, there's a gauge for weapon cooldown, and when the red gets to the top, basically your ship overheats and you have to wait before you can start shooting again. And I didn't know what the shoot button was. So at the top, I think it said, like, "What are you doing? Shoot, loser." Which is funny and a nice touch, but like, they never told me in the instructions how to shoot once my ship stopped shooting, if I can say that without messing up. Ship stopped shooting. So I figured it out after a bit. I was tapping everywhere. It's shift. So to stop and start shooting, you use the shift key. But you know, it would have been nice just to know that. It would have helped a little bit on my first playthrough. But I got it and it was okay. Also, I'm probably missing a game mechanic, because there's another gauge in the bottom left corner, and I had no idea why it was there or what to do with it. So maybe instructions would have helped with that, but they weren't super necessary, as it's not like a super in-depth game with key controls you have to memorize. Anyway, another cool thing about the game was the enemy clusters. So depending on the level, the enemies will kind of bunch together to form a shape, which I thought was really cool, and you can start destroying enemies within that shape, and more will come to either recreate it or form a different shape. And I thought that element was really cool. They, morph together to create one big bad enemy, and I really liked that in the gameplay. Power-ups were kind of scarce, but when they came, they were really cool to have, like having a second ship or a shield or whatever. I would have liked maybe a bit more variety and, having power-ups a bit more often, but it was a cool touch to the game, so I like them. The game has one mode, which is the one you're seeing right now, where you just continue level by level until you beat the game. There's 25 levels. The furthest I got was level 10, which is the video you're watching right now. It would have been cool if there were other modes or something, considering this is probably the developer's first game. More modes will come with future games or maybe updates to this one. And apparently if he reaches enough downloads, he will add a co-op mode, which is pretty cool. But yeah, in the future, maybe a few more modes, different types of ways to play, change it up a little bit. The losing screen, as you'll see in a bit, because I do lose, is another cool touch in this game, like the enemies' faces and all that. After you lose, the credits will play, and you can't skip the credits. I watched them the first time, but after dying that first time, I tried to skip the credits again on my second time playing and so on. And as far as I know, you can't skip the credits. So it would be nice if that option was in the game maybe, because I feel like this is a game that people would just keep playing over and over. You die, you play, you die, you play, to try and just get further and further and eventually get to that level 25. So maybe an option to skip credits, that would have been nice. One thing you guys have to remember is that this is possibly the developer's first game. He was able to get it on Steam Early Access, and he's 13 years old, which is crazy. And creating games is kind of like YouTube or anything else that you do where it goes in the public, basically. Even though this game is not perfect, it had flaws, it's not Game of the Year, but it's important to check it out if you want to, if you think it's interesting, and give the developer support, communicate with the developer to help the developer learn from this, improve, and make the next game better, and so on and so forth. And one day, Skinny Jeans Death Studios might create your favorite game of all time. Who knows? The game's pretty cheap, so I'd suggest, at least going to look at it on Steam. It's a pretty big accomplishment. It's like when I started my first videos not too long ago. They weren't the best quality. I kind of put together what I was saying, and through support and people helping me, I was able to, have the feedback, to have the confidence to continue. I think my current videos are definitely better than my first ones, and I hope my video tomorrow and after that will just keep getting better. And I think the same thing can apply with game developing, and just giving this guy a chance to check out his game and tell him what you think and tell him what you would like to see next time, so he can get the confidence to know that people are watching, people are out there, people support his game enough to let him know what to do next and what they like and what they didn't like. Whatever space you're in, it's about that community and that interaction. That's what I think. And just making every single one of your products better, whether it's a YouTube video or a game or even a car, which is kind of a weird example, but you just want to keep getting better with everyone, and you can't get better without people telling you what you're doing wrong and giving you props for what you're doing right. Anyway, I know this was really casual, and just for me, it was my first review on YouTube, so tell me what you didn't like, what do you want to see in the review, should I be ranking games, whatever. Any developers, feel free. I will review any game you want. Same with you viewers. I'll play any game you want. I'll do whatever you want. It's all about making everything more enjoyable for you guys. Big shout out to this developer. Thank you so much for letting me play your game. And I hope you have awesome success in the future. Thank you guys for watching. Leave me comments, good or bad, in the description. I love them all. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Keep it jammin'. Bye.
operational. You are clear for your mission. Godspeed and good luck today, Commander.
Thrusters engaged, time to embark on an exhibition. Living with fear, no need for that, cause that is not the mission. Colonel's law, Colonel's free. Quadrant A in sector 3. Spit real truth for the shit breakdown. Though we killed them all, reset now. Love, hate, no escape. Early morning, yeah, the grind is late. Screaming all aboard. 1, 2, 1, 2, move abroad. Up the score, turning up, going hardcore. Annihilate them, be a patron. Upgrade zone, we evaporate them. Set it off now for the angels, state them. Whoa!
System malfunction. We have a serious problem. Your support team will not be arriving as expected. You are alone. I repeat, lone wolf. You must survive.
Oh, think we got it, no below. Oh, below. Talking about it, no below. Think we got it, no below. Oh, below. LOA and T.
Overloading, system loading, overloading, system loading, overloading, system loading, overloading, system loading.
Oh, below. Think we got it, no below. Oh, below. LOA and T.
This is crucial to the success of the mission. We must regain control if we are to take this victory. Failure is not an option. Do you copy?
Roger that.